SACP is adamant that it will continue to fight for a corruption-free South Africa. It's meeting in Kempton Park this weekend to discuss, amongst other things, the deteriorating state of municipalities in the country. Abongile Dumako spoke to the SACP First Deputy Secretary General Mapaila.
The SACP's Central Committee meeting for the next 3 days to discuss many issues that need discussion in as far as the role of SACP is concerned in the country, and of course the economic issues that we've seen unfolding. But to help us take us through some of the issues that are going to be discussed, I'm joined by Mapaila. He is the First Deputy Secretary of the SACP. Good day to you, sir, and of course you are here. Briefly tell us among the things that we're going to discuss here as the SACP and what role you think will play in improving South Africa.
Yeah, major issues facing the country today. We are dealing with the question of the economy. We have presentations by comrades who are deployed in government to share with us perspective on the state of the economy. Minister Pravin will come and share with us. We'll discuss the situation in the mines, the job losses in the mining sector. Broadly, Impala trying to shed 13,000 jobs and many others coming on board. Completely unacceptable, particularly given the situation that the country is faced with of economic lowdown, an economy that is not yet growing. And we think the big capital must also come on board and play a role regarding investment in the productive sectors of the economy and saving jobs, and not only look at government to be the only one that can salvage the economic situation that our people are faced with. We'll of course discuss other sectors, the continued impact on the ramifications regarding the VAT increases and how that is impacting on the living standards of the poor and the quality of life of the poor. We'll look into that. We'll also have a discussion on the state of local governance, particularly state of municipalities. Minister Zolim Kiza will also be coming to see us here to present an overarching perspective, and so that we're able to see how to strengthen our municipalities to respond effectively to the needs of the communities in different areas, particularly given reports that have emerged to the extent that majority of them have been dysfunctional. These are, of course, some of the issues that the Communist Party has raised. Of course, in the political space, we'll deal with the whole issue around reconfiguration of the alliance, which is an ongoing debate. We have already evolved a discussion document, which is now in the realm of the alliance. COSATU has made its own input into that. Others will be also finalizing theirs, and we'll also be able to refine our position regarding that, so that the alliance changes the manner in which it operates, and we can make our deployees accountable.
Talking about COSATU, they've come out strongly following that, one would say, rumor that government is planning to cut some jobs, saying that if that happens, they will pull out in as far as election is concerned next year. What's your reaction and your view in as far as that is concerned?
Well, I mean, we can say that definitely we will not accept the cut-off of such kind of number of jobs. We can't condemn it in the mining sector and the other economic areas, and then we think it's correct for government. Will definitely, such an issue was actually surprised to see it in the papers ourselves. We've not been approached officially. We'll reject that. We think such a matter should be placed in the hands of the alliance for discussion. This is an issue that we're talking about when we talk about reconfiguration. So you don't approach those kind of big issues, strategic issues, from a point of oneness. In this case, the ANC. I think they will make it difficult for the process of reconfiguration. So we'll stand with COSATU on this one. Not necessarily to say because there's this thing we pull out, but basically to say we can't accept that. In fact, it shouldn't happen. Workers can't lose their jobs. Workers can't be forced to resign, and later on the state takes responsibility for their well-being. We need all of us to look into the totality of the state of the economy, how to change it, how the public can play a major role, so that the public sector, if it invests properly, it can actually make strategic changes or visible changes that can actually sustain the jobs that are there in the public sector. Where we have reached a situation where in the economy where we need to also be creative. For instance, we need a 24-hour running economy, for instance, including government operations. So effectively, instead of shedding jobs, we may need more jobs. Actually, that's the point that I think that we'll need to have a proper discussion within the alliance, but we'll reject any attempts by government to shed jobs.
Okay, cool. One cannot not talk about the developments that we are seeing in Mpumalanga and Mbombela specifically. There's been a lot of riots taking place. There are people complaining that government doesn't seem to listen when they complain regarding the fact that they want their houses to be rebuilt. It's not a nice thing to see. SACP's view?
Well, firstly, we are in solidarity with the people who are on the streets on a daily basis when we go across the country, including the people in Mbombela who have been let down by bureaucracy in government, by non-responsive municipalities and so forth. In fact, we are taking up, as part of the proposal to this meeting, a proposal on our Red October campaign to focus on rebuilding municipalities so that they can be as responsive as possible. It's unacceptable for political leaders to hold positions in government, and when there are issues raised with the community, they just disappear. They don't engage with the community effectively. But we are also calling on our communities not to destroy public property in the process of many protests. But we are on the side with them that their issues should have long been attended to. Government must also respond effectively to many other issues. We are also aware of other areas where, for instance, after natural disasters like storms and so forth, people's houses have been damaged and so forth. Government has still, even today, not actually responded to those things. Completely unacceptable. But we think that in the totality, when we engage with Minister Zweli Mkhize, we'll also be raising this matter so that from a point of view of government, there's able to be a responsive approach. And of course, in that space, we have now seen where every other protest people want the president because they feel that local representative and provincial representatives are not actually taking them seriously, which is quite shameful. We need our comrade to respond effectively to the needs of the people and to engage with them and to also share with the people the difficulties that we are faced with. Our people have always understood that. If you go to a community and say, here's what we are having, here's what we can do, what else can you bring onto the table to complete the solution, they are able to actually give concrete suggestions.
So Mapaila is the first Deputy Secretary General of the SACP. Thanks for your time, Budi.
Thank you very much.
Well, there you have it. A lot is to be discussed over this weekend by the SACP. We are going to be back here on Sunday to get a sense of what are some of the resolutions taken and, of course, pave a way forward.